Today I will be reviewing the XP Pen 22. The XP Pen 22 is an art tablet screen designed to be used with a digital pen. The XP Pen 22 is designed to be used with a picture editing program like Adobe Photoshop or other drawing programs. The XP Pen 22 is compatible with dual monitor setups to have extended monitors. It has a display of 21.5 inches with a native resolution of 1920 by 1080 full HD resolution. The display is designed to have extra wide vision angles due to multiple usage for art writing, as well as 9-point display calibration for calibrating digital pens. The display can register a 2048 level of pressure touch with touchscreen capabilities to allow you to be able to draw in multiple pressures and widths. The X Pen 22 is ergonomically designed and to allow free motion of the screen without any sort of shaking. Now right now, because all I've got to do is I can just reach back here, there's a lever, and I can just kind of angle it however I want, and it stays. Or the other way, of course, as well. And we can just adjust it however we need to do for anything for drawing. So right here is the back of the device. We've got all the cords and everything, a few for other cords for other things, of course. Now the lever's just right here, and it's just as simple as pulling it. Now right now I'm holding it, but it's basically what's pulled up. It's got the full motion range, and I can just kind of let go of the lever, and it just stays. The screen is sturdy and scratch proof. This screen in particular has already been used extensively. It's been drawn on, and there's no scuffs, marks, scratches, anything. The display is very solid. It's just basically almost unscratchable. I don't see a scratch on there at this point, even after using it. The only downside to the durability of the screen is it is actually a little bit reflective. I've read, and from the other screens I've messed around with, other ones on the market and more expensive ones aren't reflective at all. But this one, depending on the angle, it can be a little bit reflective. Like if I angle it back here, you can kind of see how the light starts reflecting off of it. And it's very good design. However, it's just the reflectiveness. It's a little thing, but it's not too big of a deal overall, as long as you know that it's there. Now the actual body of the monitor, it's very solid, very stable. It's no issues with it. It does everything it needs to do. And compared to its competition, the Wacom Cintiq, it's overall comparable. It's almost indistinguishable. I almost think it might even be manufactured in the same area, maybe the same factory, even with how close it is. Now on the bottom of the device here, we've got the cables. There's the USB, the power, and the HDMI cable. They connect right on the bottom, connect right on the computer, real straightforward. Now the actual elevation of the device, even when it's fully springs down all the way, with the amount of room they give you down there, the cables don't get in the way, they don't catch anything, they don't drag, so it's a good spot for them, don't have any issues with them. Now the actual feet themselves, they're pretty basic, they're just little rubber knobs, but they get the job done. They grip very well to any surfaces here, because I can just kind of set it down. It doesn't shake. I can shake the table, no issue. And if I actually try to push it, it doesn't really push unless I actually get in there and push it, and even then I'm really pushing it. Okay, now the actual selling points of the device, the monitor, the pins, the touch screen, this is really where the main important part is here. The touch screen works well, the pins work well. I actually like the pins. They're just like a real pen. They're not too light, they're not too heavy, just feels like a pen. They do have two buttons on here which you can assign different functions to. I currently have left click and right click assigned to them, so I can kind of use it as a mouse while I'm drawing to select different drawing functions in Photoshop however I need to. Now the actual drawing is really good overall, because you can just kind of draw. There's almost no lag delay, so I can just kind of, there's a little bit of a delay, but that's more to do with the actual Photoshop program itself. It's really good. Now the only downside here is this pen works great. I love it. It's amazing. Except the display came with two pins. Okay, it came with two pins here. Now this one's great. That's why I put tape on it. It doesn't normally have tape on it. Now the other pin, I don't know if it's maybe having some sort of factory defect, something going on here. It doesn't seem to really work the way intended, because when I try to use it, it draws now, so that it's good for Photoshop. But if I try to use it on like a desktop type of thing, it'll act like I'm dragging it, as it then works perfectly with the Now the pins themselves, they are rechargeable in full. The general design for them giving you two of them is so you can recharge one, and then when this one dies, use this one and then recharge that one. Or you can have them both charged at the same time. I haven't had them die on me yet, but who knows, they might. But so far they're good, and they give you a spare, so that's great. Now as far as the actual installation, all I had to do is plug in power, HDMI, and USB straight in computer just like that, and it was able to operate as a monitor just right out of the box, no problem. As far as like the actual touch portion of it, it did come with an installation disc. It just popped it in there, took a few minutes, that was it. We didn't actually have to really configure anything on the monitor. It does have a lot of configuration options, so you can configure it how you want, but it's almost ready to go entirely out of the box once you install the drivers and everything. Now, I'm thinking initially one of the pins didn't work as well, but I actually updated the drivers and everything, and it seems to be working fine now, so I guess that's why it's working, but that's great, that's working. Now, my final verdict on this device is it's solid, it's good, it gets the job done. I don't have any complaints now that the pin's working there, so that's great. Now, the actual colors on the display, they're actually better than my standard monitor that I have, so I'm using this now instead of my standard monitor on top of that, so that's really good. And the only real downsides it has are the glare, but that's very minor. I mean, compared to its competitors, the competitors don't quite have the glare, but at the same time, the price point for this device is a lot cheaper than the competitors. It's the nearest comparable device that has the similar functions. Instead of a 21.5-inch screen, it only has like a 15-inch screen. And the comparable size to this one is already at $1,500 there. And in comparison, this one was a little bit under $500, so for the price you pay for it, it's great value. I mean, if you do have the money to shell out for the much more expensive one, I'd say definitely shell it out, but if you don't want to blow $1,500 on a touchscreen, this will definitely do the job that you need it to do, and it's really good.